Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Radiant Achiever Show. This is a birthday episode. It's my birthday, and I thought I would do something different today and actually have my mom, Rose, on today to interview me on this episode of the Radiant Achiever Show. So, Mom, thank you for welcome first, and thank you for being willing to play along with me with my idea.
Oh, you're very welcome, Chris, and a very happy birthday to you. I hope you're having a great day today.
I am.
Good, good. Okay, so when did you have the desire to write a book?
That's a good question, Mom. So, it happened years ago. I can't pinpoint the exact time, but at some point in my coaching career, I knew I would write a book. It was just kind of this knowing that at some point it would come out. I believe everybody has a story. And so, at some point I felt there would be a story worthy for me to share.
Oh, all right. So one of your desires or callings was to bring your book to life. And now that it's been published, how do you feel?
Yeah.
And what has happened since you launched it?
Oh, thanks, Mom. Yeah, how do I feel? I feel amazing. I feel, in here, in case anybody hasn't seen it, here it is. This is a hard copy. Oh, yay.
I do.
Love it, Mom. How does it feel? Yeah, it's, at first it was really kind of surreal when I was going through the launch process. And, this idea, I started actually working on the book over 3 years ago. It was 3 years, 9 months, and like 2 weeks from the time I started putting pen to paper to when it came to life. So when it was actually happening, it's kind of like going to college, like you've been in school for so long, and then all of a sudden you finally get the degree, right? You're like, I'm done, I did it, right? And I think it was probably a very similar feeling for me with the book. And it's been fun and just it's open. So now what's transpired is that it's like opening doors for me. I did an event with somebody actually just last night, which was a big 60-person event, and they all got copies of my book. I talked about radiant achievement. Excuse me, I forgot my water. There's other doors and other things that are opening up, other opportunities to speak and connect with people as a result of the book being out there, which was my intention, right? So to see it actually really be happening is so fun.
Right, and that's fantastic. Excuse me, I don't have my water either. That's fantastic. Glad to hear that things are really progressing for you, and I'm sure you're going to go a long way. Another question I have, though, is what were the biggest obstacles that you had to overcome when you said yes to publishing a book?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest obstacle was, could I really do it? And you know me, Mom, like I have all these ideas. I'm really kind of that dreamer, always been that kind of dreamer kid. And so like I could have the dream, but then when you start working on it, it's some of that self-doubt came up on, I'm not a writer. So can I really write something that is good enough that I would be proud enough to publish? So that self-doubt was first and foremost. Another one of the really big obstacles was actually just having my butt in the chair and getting quiet enough to write. And so when I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I first decided to write the book, I actually had hired somebody to like walk this process with me. It was a 6-week process. And they guaranteed I would have the draft, the book would be done, right? And that appealed to me because I like short time frame projects. And it actually took me 7 weeks, but I literally had to just like block out like the whole world other than, taking care of Buddy, the dog. It just blinders on for my writing blocks of time. And that helped me get through those initial drafts. And then the third biggest obstacle was really taking that draft, getting it to the place of being able to be published. Like I saw my initial words and I put down the draft actually for a long time, maybe 9 months or a year even. And I picked it back up and I reread it and I cried because I had grown in that year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds like kindergartner material. Like it sounds so basic and I just like, it just isn't ever going to be good enough, you know? And so I just had to, you know, kind of put my big girl pants on and say, you know, it's a starting point and there's people out there, right? So
Right.
who can you get? Like I had to get to that point of realizing like, I'm not going to do it all by myself. And there's people out there that can help me. So getting over that hurdle of seeing it be the imperfect product and having still the commitment to keep moving forward and getting the support to help refine the book was really what that next big obstacle. So those were a few of the key ones for me.
Wow. There's a lot involved in writing a book. I know it's something I could never do. You know, I don't have the patience, first of all. So kudos to you just for having the patience to really sit down, follow your dream, and commit to doing it. I think that's a big thing. When you commit to doing something and then following through when, you know, to fulfillment. So you did a great job, Chris.
Thanks, Mom.
So what has changed about you since you faced all these obstacles and you've gotten to the point that you're at?
Yeah. What's changed about me? I will say I very much trust my intuition now. I use it. I honor it. And that was I was already kind of starting to get to that place, but now I will say that's a very strong inner power for me, is really just using my intuitive muscles. So that was a big thing that changed. And out of that, it is, you know, I don't want to say it's not even confidence, but it's like, I'm okay with who I am. I'm okay with my ideas. I'm okay if people don't get me. I don't need other people's approval. So I really became, I think, a stronger, more solidified in who I am, and have embraced that fully, right? And so that's been and as a result of that, it's like it's peaceful, it's empowering, and I have a lot more, you know, synchronistic and serendipitous things that happen in my life because of just really owning and claiming who I am.
Well, okay, that was about you. What about professionally?
Yeah.
And I think you touched on it a little bit.
Right.
But how has it changed you professionally?
Yeah. Well, okay. One thing I will say is this. It was coming up about coming up about the time the book was being published. There's a local magazine called Discover Magazine, and they do different events with local entrepreneurs and business owners. And I had seen this over the years, and I had always thought, oh, someday it would be amazing to be in the magazine, to be part of this event. But I didn't feel like I had a platform that was strong enough to really put myself out into a magazine to say, you know, hey, here's who I am, here's what I'm about, the work I do. Well, coincidentally enough, I had gotten an email from the editor saying, we have this event coming up and would love for you to be part of it. And I looked at it and I said, yeah, I'm ready to step into this next level of visibility. Like I'm owning my work, I'm owning my message, I'm owning my methods and all of that. So then I said yes. So I'm going to be in the September-October issue, September-October issue, and there's an event that I'll be honored at as the San Diego, Power Woman. And so professionally, again, I think it's more opportunities, right? It's me being able to step into bigger stages to, like, not, again, it's like not even care what other people are saying or thinking or doing, but just really honoring the business ideas, the business connections that are coming to me, and then saying yes to the ones that resonate with me. So, it's like a whole bunch of new doors are opening up for me.
That's fantastic. And I'm sure anytime you put yourself out there, there'll be even more opportunity for you. What is one inner power that you had to engage in order to bring that book that you just wrote to life?
Yeah. I will say probably the biggest one was the power of commitment. And because there are so many steps, like you said, you can't imagine writing the book. Like, writing the book is one thing. There's the whole publishing process, then the whole marketing process. It's like at least three projects all into one big thing. And so really, that the power of commitment at two levels. One, the commitment to seeing the book through, right? And then the second level is commitment to, this was a calling of mine. And so really to give it the time and the space and the intentionality to have it be the best product it can be, without, going overboard with perfectionism, but to be the best product it can be. So commitment to just, whatever that highest purpose is of the book, letting that come to be. So I would say commitment, power of commitment was big for me.
Yes, I have to agree with you with that, because like I said before, when you decide to do something, and it's a long process, and it's a long process, you are going to have to really commit to doing it, and focusing on that. And that's a big thing, and it's sometimes really hard to do.
For sure.
Like you said, it was a long process, over 3 years.
Right.
So yes.
Well, and I will say this. So the commitment, I think this is what you're saying is bringing up something good. I put the book down several times, and because I got to the point, I knew I was going to get it done at some point. But what happens with how I used to be is I would just push through at all costs. Like, if I was tired, hungry, overwhelmed, not feeling well, I would just kind of force myself to do it. And I've since learned my lessons, and I realized if something's going on for me, take a step back, put the book down. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And and whatever was coming up for a reason for me. So I honored that in myself. And whether it was another project, so I ended up launching my app after I had written the first draft of the book. So I had that. I had other business, projects and personal things. And so I just, I honored, and plus I was still continuing on my personal growth journey, right? So sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And so again, for anybody watching and listening to this, and I know you've got some projects coming up, Mom, on, in your house, that it's, it's okay for us to take it at whatever pace and speed is right for us. And my intention in bringing the book to life was to have joy in the journey. And to have joy in the journey does not happen when you're forcing and pushing and kind of the, do it at all costs. So again, that commitment was commitment to me too, to my health and well-being along the way. And I think that was a key addition to add.
Right. So what does being a radiant achiever mean to you?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of part of my whole stick here, right? Is a radiant achiever mom is somebody that first and foremost, like, they wholeheartedly, for me, it's like loving myself, honoring what my inner, whether it's my callings, my dreams or desires, and my talents and my gifts, and then using all of that to, bring to life what those ideas are, and to make my positive mark on the world, whether that's with one person or millions of people. I'm not attached to what that is. And again, to bring those things to life from a place of self-honoring and trust, and flow, and being in that cycle of giving and receiving, where it's like, it's the circular cycle. So it's you're keeping your cup filled as you go through that journey. So it's joy and flow in the journey as well.
All right. One more thing. If you could share with our viewers one piece of wisdom related to saying yes to a dream, a calling, whatever you want to call it, what would that be?
Yeah. Well, I probably have more than one. Maybe I'll give two. So the first thing that comes to mind is, it's one of my favorite hashtags I use in social media, is it's never too late. So what that means is, if something is still calling to you, right? Like if taking those dance lessons, or if taking that dream vacation, or starting a community garden, or whatever that is, if something is still calling to you, doesn't matter if you've had the calling or the dream for 40 years, 30 years, 50 years, there is a way for you to fulfill that, right? It might look different 40 years later than what you would have done, 40 years ago. And that's okay, because fulfillment is fulfillment, and it doesn't matter. So if it's still there, it's there for a reason. And the second thing is, whatever it is that's calling to you, you have everything inside you to bring that to reality. Now, that doesn't mean, you're not going to do it in a vacuum. Again, I got a lot of help and everything, but it meant that it means you have the capacity to get the knowledge you need. You have the capacity to figure out the next step. You have the capacity to get the support, and you have to start with that belief yourself that it's possible. So know that if it's with you, it's meant to come to life in some way, and you absolutely have come into this world with the capacity and capability to bring that calling to life.
That is fantastic advice for anyone.
Definitely. Thank you, Mom.
You're very welcome.
So is there anything that you want to add, or any other questions or comments? I know you've read at least a part of my book. And
I've read the whole book.
The whole book. Okay.
This little, piece of paper in here, to mark a spot, was just something I was going to go back and reread, but it was funny you mentioned that. And one of the things that I had tried was, one portion of the book, you had mentioned finding a quiet place, trying to get rid of exterior thoughts, as I guess is a good enough word. So one day I decided, or one evening, I thought, okay, I'm going to try that. So I sat back on my sofa and I closed my eyes, and I tried to shut everything out.
Okay.
And it probably worked for about 30 seconds. And then a car drove past my house. And then somewhere in the distance, I could hear a siren, because the freeway isn't too far away from here either. And I went, okay, this is just not working. So I gave up for a few minutes, thought, okay, I'm going to try it again. Yeah. It reminded me of going to yoga class, and the same thing in yoga, where, they want you to just sit quietly in your position and, just clear your mind of everything. It's okay when you're in a very quiet room.
Yeah.
But when you're, in your home and there's a lot of activity outside, and I have dogs that live next door that as soon as someone walks by, they're barking. So there's a lot of distractions. So I haven't tried it yet, but one of these days I will try again and see.
Good.
See if anything pops into my head.
Yeah, well, so here's what I want to say, and I so appreciate you being willing to share this, and your willingness to try these things again, right? So and I think this is, maybe something I'd add some additional clarification on if I do a revision to the book, is it takes time. Two things. One, it takes time. We can't just will ourselves to be quiet necessarily. So again, it's like building a muscle of like we're so used to going that to really sit and calm ourselves down, where we can clear our thoughts, it takes practice. And certainly when there's distractions, that even takes some practice to be able to hear it, but not focus on it. And you can just, there's this part of our, when we're in this, meditation or quiet space, we have that conscious mind that can go anywhere. We can focus on the noise, or we can focus on being here present in our body, and we notice a sound out there, but we're not going there to focus on the sound, if that makes sense. And regarding the thoughts that you said, when I meditate, it absolutely takes me a while to get to that quiet place. And sometimes, and I've used different techniques. So sometimes in my early days, I would have like notice, I would visualize a river, and I would like put the thoughts on a lily pad and just let them go down the river. If it was like a bigger thought that I had a harder time to kind of just let it flow out. But again, there's techniques that you can notice the thought and just look at it like it just goes on a cloud or in the wind, and the wind just takes it away, right? So there's techniques like that, and even for me too, if there's a lot on my mind, this is why I like doing it in the morning, because I'm just still kind of sleepy and I haven't really gotten into my day. I think in the middle of the day can be a lot harder because you're thinking of other things. But I always have my journal next to me and a pen. And in those early days, I would sit and do a brain dump. Like I would just consciously clear as many thoughts as I could that were popping up. So I could, for me, when I have it on paper, I know it's there. And then it helps me get into that quiet place more. But yeah, no, it's building them. It is that it takes some time to practice it, to be okay with the noise, but yet to not focus on it. And it's okay to have thoughts pop in. I think when we try and I don't say force, but we feel bad, or we feel like it's not working. It's a natural part of who we are. Thoughts are going to come in and go out. And over time, you can really get to that place where you can eliminate the thoughts, or the majority of them. So yes, I encourage you to try it again. Yeah.
And I certainly will, like I said, try again.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think sometimes though, we're just we're too much on the, well, I don't know. I can't say that I'm that much on the go, but I think when I am home though, I probably, always thinking, oh, wait, I have laundry to do, or, the dishes need to be done, or I should get outside there, there's weeding to be done. And so I always find other things, I guess, to do, and don't really take that time to just say, hey, it's me time. I can sit back and I can relax.
Right.
And
exactly.
I can just try to clear my mind, and yeah.
Right.
I will try it again.
No, you're so spot on. And you're in your 80s and you still are, which is awesome. You do things. You have an active life, right? You're not right. Sitting on the couch, watching soap operas and eating bonbons, right? You still work part-time. You've got the family there. You've got your gardening. You've got your little projects, and your home improvement project that you're in the process of, figuring out details on. And we can stay active, right, all day long with those things. So I love that you acknowledge, and that's part of what I want people to get to, that place where planning time in to sit still and listen. Let me tell you, I think I did an article a long time ago. Actually, I think I did this, Mom, a blog, when you and I went to Hawaii in when did we go to Hawaii? 2016, I think it might have been 2017. I think 2016.
16, I think you're right.
And I think it was called like living on Aloha time. And I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember.
Right. So it's like, I love, Hawaii for that, because that's part of the whole culture is you slow down, you take your time, you pause, you rest. And it's like you can do less, but accomplish more. And I think that's part of the paradigm, the joke of the lifestyle we live, we feel like the more we do things, the more we're going to get done. And I think it's actually the opposite. The less we do, and the more we listen, things are going to come through us that are going to be answers, next steps, serendipities that actually move us forward 5 steps versus us having to take 5 steps. Five things, a big thing can happen now or sooner without even any effort. And that's the whole thing of when you're in flow, those synchronicities happen. So that's a big part of what I teach in my book.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So,
well, this was a very enjoyable session. I thank you once again for inviting me to be, a part of it and interviewing my daughter, who is now an author.
You are welcome.
That's great. I'm just very proud of you and everything you have accomplished so far. And like I said, I know you're going to accomplish a lot more in the future. So.
Oh, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. Again, I so appreciate you being a willing participant. I think this is your at least second video, if not more, with me. Second, okay.
Yes.
Got it. So
you're taking me out of my comfort zone. Thank you.
Good. See, it's never too late, Mom. It's never too late.
I guess not.
All right. No, it isn't. Seriously.
No.
It's only too late if you say it is, right?
That's right. Right.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, Mom. And to our viewers, thank you everybody for being here today. I hope you got some great nuggets out of Mom's interview with me on my birthday. And I look forward to seeing all of you again really soon.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye.